not about min-maxing everything. It's about playing something that has a gamble.
Yeah, and just to remind you guys, this is live agent select. Those are hovers right now from Penny and Olazira, and Penny has locked in the Jet. Navi, no changes here from what we expected, but what do we make about Apex's comp?
I honestly kind of like it. I mean, I know that we were kind of wanting to see that double duelist come out, but I think the way in which we've seen Omen being played on Icebox more recently, I think back to Martin on KC, for example, they have been playing Omen as a sort of aggressive second entry type agent. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing that.
Yeah, I have to agree. I think this is the closest you can get to a double duelist comp, even though Omen isn't a duelist. It's been more popular in the APAC region to run both the Omen and Jet together as kind of that double duo. Yeah, I think it makes perfect sense. And on the Navi side, no changes from their recent performances running that Sage. I'm a big fan.
I'm a big fan, but imagine if it was, you know, Shao playing the Sova at some point, just throwing it in there.
I think he played Sage sometimes back.
He did, yeah, he did.
He was a bit of a battle Sage.
I mean, he can play anything. It's Shao. I am a little bit surprised that it's Batu Omen and Penny Jet. I think they could change it the other way around. Doesn't really matter.
I think what that signifies to me is that we'll see Penny on the entry duelist a little bit more, and then Batu on that second duelist.
Well, we have a new map here, some new players, but if you do struggle with change, don't worry. I am going to leave you in the very safe, very capable, and very reliable hands of Mitchman and Tombiz.
Thank you very much, Yinsu. I'm
You've been
flattered.
called reliable.
Yeah.
I think that's a first. World
That's a
first. Mitchman has been called reliable.
Thank you very much for the compliment, Sue. Yes, it's time to get into this game. We've got new faces down on that stage, Tom, but some that we're quite familiar with. New identities to these teams, and hopefully new results for a squad like Apex yet to put up a win here in VCT EMEA.
Yeah, it feels mad because they've had a lot of like sort of good maps that they've shown. They've had a lot of close games, but they were never able to take anything over the line. I'm also excited to see I want to say new players. Obviously, Penny, I feel like has been around for a while. Doesn't need so much of an introduction. If you have watched basically Valorant over the last few years, you should know who he is. Olazira, though, coming up from that tier 2 scene, I think is going to be exciting, and the same for Alexic, someone who, I'll be honest, I believe probably should have been picked up at the beginning of the year. Like, it made a good showing when it came to Go Next with someone who had maybe a little bit less consistent sort of numbers than you'd like, but when he's on, he is on. And, well, we saw not too long ago over in Turkey, he had a very good first series and not so good second series. And his best map, I think, was on Icebox, so hopefully he's in for a show.
Well, a lot of promise between these two. This is your first battleground for this best of 3. Sunset up next, and Corrode. If we end up there, I'll be very excited. But first, we'll have to see the trade out of maps, starting with Navi on the defensive side here on Icebox, and the identities between the two shifting between having the Sage on Navi and the Omen on the other side. We'll see how that evolves. As we're already on the attack side, it looks like a net being spread. Noise on the B site, wall there as well, drone sent through. But the idea is to push A. That's been left a little lighter defended with just Angel there. And there was a moment where Navi looked to push mid, but they've halted and started to shift out of that A site. A lot of space for the taking for Apex.
Yeah, they seem to almost have some sort of a read that there's going to be a play towards middle, eventually starting to aggress through that control, and with Angel already having a little bit of extra information, they're actually not going to play off of that. Just looking to come back and support their IGL. There is an incredibly late lurk going through from Avova. He's going to look to try and wrap round behind everybody, but it's all going to come down to timing. If his teammates can hold off Navi for long enough, this will be perfect, and I think they should.
They've already bought enough. He's got an angle and takes down Hero. Flank protection. Well, traded out for the info, I suppose, but players falling across the board. Navi, barely a spark on their side as Apex cleanly take round number 1.
Yeah, they basically played for just that little wraparound at the end, and I really like it. Just waiting for Avova to get back in on that flank, and he was so patient with his play as well. I feel like a lot of players will just go a little bit early in those sort of positions, maybe not have the same level of faith that he did when it came to his Apex teammates. And the second he finds those couple of kills, I think there was also a lovely reveal that came through as well from Molzy, just to let him know where everybody was. That round was already over. And while for Navi, of course, this is their map choice, as it was said on the desk, a map that, even when they haven't been in the best of form, has still looked pretty good for them. Either it's been victories or incredibly close losses, so you kind of expect them to take this one over the line, but they're coming up against a very different Apex to what we saw last stage.
Oh, that they definitely are. I mean, bringing Penny in as well, someone who's tasted that international stage many a time. More recently as well over in Toronto, but going back to the V1 days as well, this guy has been around a hell of a long time.
Like eating the grass, you know, like footballers and tennis players sometimes they pick up. So he's been eating the stage. Yeah, like if they're like
sanitary.
Yeah, like if a tennis player wins themselves a match, they might like eat a little bit of the grass.
Oh, LEDs in his stomach, perhaps. The microplastics are going off. Olizera, great space taken. This is a problem. Already we're seeing NAVI have so many gaps, and this is a low-buy round, of course, but if this continues, you will certainly be seeing a quick matchup in favor of that attacking side. But talking about Penny, him up against Alexic as well, certainly to the EMEA stage, newcomers, although Penny obviously playing with an EMEA squad over in Toronto, standing in for Team Liquid. It will be an interesting battle to see evolve, because I think both of these players step onto that stage with some pressure on their shoulders.
Yeah, both with a point to prove. I think for very different reasons. Obviously, Alexic has kind of been brought in as like, is this guy going to be able to help save NAVI? Because obviously expectations of this org are to be at international events. Like that's been it for a long, long time. They signed the FPX roster back in the day, one of the few Masters winners from EMEA. And yeah, it never really had the same level of success. They've made all these roster changes, signed some pretty big players as well, and it's yet to really deliver. So he has a lot of pressure on his shoulders as a youngster. Come on, another youngster still in the mix. Hero will start this round off.
A solid opening, but again, that gap after they pick off one. Luckily, Olizera's not able to make anything of it, and Hero eventually drops him down before they lose players on that B site. The defense standing ready for this push, as now only 3 players remain on Apex, all in the same angle, and it's Alexic to light up the scoreboard. His first double there, and an in-zone flawless for NAVI. That's quite a way to bounce back into this.
Yeah, I want to see this guy succeed. As I said, when watching Go Next, and it was their sort of run through Ascension, they were incredibly unlucky not to at least make it to the playoff stage, losing in, I think, one of the earlier matches in incredibly sort of close fashion. I think they were even the one team that managed to beat Apex. So I think that, again, we've seen some of the other players, like Profek, come through from that roster. And the same for Mini. But yeah, an in-zone flawless. But maybe a round that shouldn't have been. I do feel like that was a little bit of jitters maybe being shown from Olizera.
Yeah, missed shot from Olizera. Avova falling early to a spam through the smoke. Chalk it down to look for NAVI. Will they get lucky again, though? Angel's being caught, pushed up close after Shao falls early, and now NAVI, a 3 versus 5, they find themselves in the same spot their opponents were at the start of the previous round.
Yeah, and it leaves Alexic completely alone, needing a hero play, and he started off well. 0 damage taken and ahead of the opposition gone. I do like this though from Apex. They're trying to sort of sell the idea that maybe they've gone back, but NAVI aren't biting on it. They have gambled 3 players now within this A site, and that's exactly where Apex look to push.
Alexic seems to be very reliable so far! And a 3rd kill on the tally! They're not expecting Ruxic to also be close. And now Malzy's alone, and Hero waiting inside the smoke. A great round for NAVI, losing those 2 opening picks on the defense. It's often a death sentence. Absolutely.
I'm not giving the credit to the rest, I'm sorry, but the first 2 go down with, I think it's Xiao just doesn't expect the Omen to just TP at the last second. And then it comes down to, okay, let's leave our newfound youngster on the site alone and see what he can do. And hey, 3 kills when the whole squad is pushing up against you. That's very impressive.
Yeah, I suppose not so much a great round from NAVI, a great round for
yeah, there you go.
NAVI.
There you go.
All thanks to Alexic. Like I said, he'd been reliable so far, but getting a triple in a round like that has bailed NAVI out of a bad situation and stolen what should have been a good start for Apex. Now the defense, they have to make good on this though. They have to keep building up those rounds. And this time at least, no early aggression punished. Much more normal round that play.
Yeah. Outlaw in for Alexic, of course. Reading into the economy of the opponents, realizing they're not going to have the finances for heavy shields, so he has a chance to farm already with the Blade Storm as well, so if things go a little bit pear-shaped, he has the opportunity. Of course, for Apex, they're going to want to get off to a good start on this attack. It's normally where you see most teams get the majority of their rounds. Hero, though, already aggressive, and it's another freebie. He'll take a bit of damage on the way out, but comfortable in the end.
Yeah, you'll certainly take that kind of a trade. Turret to watch for the mid push later on as well. Still have that orb to cut off info, but Apex aren't going to pressure mid. They're moving straight into this A site, and look at the stack up. There's 4 players here. The Outlaw on the other side of the map. Everybody else ready and waiting for this play. Apex are running into a trap, and it's being sprung. Penny and Malsey, the only ones able to find a glimmer of hope. And that is a great read from Navi as well. Bit of mid-aggression, reset into the full A-hold, and rely on Alexic, who so far has been a safe pair of hands.
Yeah, it is interesting, though, that you've brought in this sort of youngster who doesn't necessarily have that same level of experience. And we're already seeing like a, right, you go hold that whole side of the map and we'll just do the rest. It's like, it clearly shows how much faith they already have in this kid. I'm excited to see what we're going to get, of course, for the other side of Apex. Definitely not the sort of round they were looking for. That wasn't a low buy, that was a heavy investment. They've not really found anything from it. Blade Storm will be in for Penny.
No charges.
We'll see if he can do anything here.
There's the info. Spots one, and Drone goes out to clear the other corners. So far, when they've pushed this site, there have been a lot of players from Navi ready and waiting. Again, they go marching in, the space open, but a big setup waiting for them as they push deeper. Blade Storm already out of the round. That's a lot of the hope, a lot of the promise for this squad. And look at the position Alexic is in, ready and waiting for this cross. A freebie with a headshot connected, clean as can be. You highlighted the Hunter's Fury there for both sides, but at this point, I'm not sure that Navi will feel it necessary.
Yeah, I thought maybe they use it just to deny the plant, and that's what a lot of teams will do. Even in rounds like this, just to make sure that time doesn't tick away. They haven't opted for him. I'll be honest, it doesn't look like they need it. This is very comfortable. I'd be very surprised if Malsey is going to pop his ult for this sort of scenario. He was hoping to try and catch someone off, but hasn't. It will be 3 kills coming through for Hero, and those ultimates really starting to farm up for the side of Na'Vi.
And again, there was a moment of 2-1 where Apex were in that 3v5. It looked like they'd connected all the dots, but it's fallen apart. The early lead no longer to be. Navi up double the rounds, but Rifle's now coming out for that attack side. Hunter's Fury is there, but it's going to be needed. Malsey's going to need to keep it because Hero has the lockdown to play with. They can block off all that space, deny a push, and without that Hunter's Fury, you are not going to be able to do anything about it.
Don't overthink it. That's my job.
But at least they have that to fall back on. This is a round, though, for Apex that we need to see them connect, or Navi will be running away with this early half.
Well, they're already in a very good spot credits-wise. Wow, they're going to try and just run through the smoke, and what Heroes met them with 3. What a round already from him. Alexic with a missed shot, under a little bit of pressure, but he's going to fake the idea that he's escaped, and Penny's just dashed into a wall. I don't think he's going to get an easier kill than that today. Well, good luck, Malsey. I'm sure you got this one.
Still have that Hunter's Fury at least, you know?
Yeah, shock dart him.
Nope.
Don't.
That's not
That's
him.
the warning shock dart. Soon he'll send it. Well, he doesn't have enough.
Yeah, he already used the first one. That's unfortunate. And wrapped around now by Ruxic. Right now, it's Navi making every play correctly after a little bit of a shaky opener. An in-zone flawless in round number 7. And a 5-2 lead, credit secured.
It does feel like, yeah, it's weird that came out as another in-zone flawless. Like, there have been a couple of them, but ultimately not necessarily ones that we expected. Of course, this is our new boy on the block, Alexic. A few facts for you. He played for Z10. He obviously was with Go Next, who went through Ascension and managed to win the E-split, and was a former semi-pro footballer. Which is definitely interesting. Weren't you a previous semi-pro basketball player?
Almost, Tom.
Almost. It was very close.
Yeah, my shoes let me down.
Ah, okay. Well, they didn't have an extra few foot on them.
That's outrageous of you to say, Tom. There's a role in basketball called the prodigy, and that was me. I just couldn't quite shoot, and I didn't like to pass, but I had the dribbling down. Sure. Well, nonetheless, it is going to be that timeout being taken for Apex. You can understand why. 5 rounds in a row, and a couple of them haven't been particularly close. I feel like as well, like, obviously you give credit to Hero. He's 11-2, he gets 3 kills. If one of your players is up top and 2 run through a smoke and he gets all 3, that's bad.
you should probably have been able to trade that kill, especially the guy up top, who I don't think he peeked until after the two that ran through the smoke were dead. Don't want to be overly critical, but that doesn't seem like it was a great play.
Yeah, well, I guess
Vinny's going to break that one down for you, don't worry.
the results speak for themselves, Tom, here. I think your insight goes a long way.
Yeah, you know. Oh, let's see. It's given a bit of a chance for Danito to try and correct the ship. As these 5 rounds, other than, as you mentioned, the one where Alexic kind of helped save Na'Vi, the rest of them have not been particularly close. Already, Hunter's Fury has been popped, I think just off the back of the drone going through, and that's Angel just finding an opener on Molesey. That's going to be that Hunter's Fury gone again for Apex. They do have a few more ults, and well, it seems like Angel has had enough of his youngsters picking up the kills. He's going to get into a more aggressive position.
They're going to walk right into him. Oh, he couldn't even see them! I don't know what gave him the read there. An itchy trigger finger, and he's found the kill as a result. Another stacking up corpses, not even on the B site, just outside it. The spike halted in its tracks, and Olizera, you talk about him as the newcomer, someone with a lot of promise. Well, this will be a play to write his name in the history books if he makes this work. A 1v5 ults online for Navi.
30 seconds left.
And what should now be a 6-2 start coming out of that pause as well.
I like how you said should.
Listen, I've seen stranger things. If this was Sugetsu, I think it's locked in. Let's see if Olizera can fill those boots.
That's a fair comparison, isn't it? The guy who's just joined the league for the first time versus a veteran who's won a Masters. Yeah, you know, if he could do that in 10 seconds, wow, that'd be really good, wouldn't it? Yeah, he's not going to. He's going to die, and it's another in-zone flawless. But, you know, it should be 6-2.
It should be. It should be. And somehow Navi managed to get it across the line.
No idea
in that
how.
5v1.
I like this. Yeah, this. I feel like there was a moment where he went, oh, what if he walked through just then? I'll just shoot just in case.
Avova's got to be fuming now. That's a couple times we've seen him just taken out of the play when he doesn't see anyone. He doesn't have a read. He's just walking about.
They didn't even see him.
Yeah, he's just executed. And 6-2 start, economy in favor, ults online for Navi. It's Apex desperately in need of an answer here. Again, at 2-1, they were in a 3v5.
They need a kill. Like, an answer.
Yeah, that's true, man.
Like, there's now been 3 flawless rounds already of the Na'Vi 6.
2 in a row.
Like, it's just damaging. And now they're even... I feel like some of the ults that Na'Vi are using now are just to cycle them. It's like Angel just popped his off the contact of a drone. Now, yeah, a little bit of pressure and they put the Viper's pin. It's because otherwise they're just holding them. And look how aggressive they already are. They've got 2 players in deep space on A. They've got the Viper's pit down on B. Like, maybe Na'Vi get punished just for how aggressive they currently are, but they have an absurd amount of space.
Still looking to play through the pit. The AWP almost claiming a kill. 20 HP left, and it will be Angel swinging from up top to close that out. 2 players pushed on A, leaves Apex with no other choice. They have to commit to this site. And there is a gap around that side of the pit, but Xiao's watching it, and now it's slowed. Can't quite get through. Hunter's Fury sent through as a last-ditch attempt to deal with this, and it does catch the reveal, but no one's there to execute Ruxic. The pit stays up. Xiao finds one. Spray almost takes Ruxic down, and he will eventually allow that pit to fall with a counter pit in play. He now has the uphill battle. Fighting through, he'll find Penny, but if Ova stays alive, keeps that pit in play, but the lockdown will send him scurrying. 5 seconds. That's enough for the pit to fall. He's going to be fighting back into open space with 12 seconds left, with 3 opponents to take down. And again, the choice is to lose the round or lose the gun. Avova out of here. And 7-2 on the board for Navi with at least a rifle saved. And I guess the silver lining here, it wasn't a flawless.
Right. Yeah, that is some real silver lining when you... They used 3 ults in that round? No, I don't think they used the...
2 at least.
Yeah, they didn't use the Blaze Storm, but they did use the Hunter's Fury to try and get an opener. And yeah, then the Viper's Pit, which I think they got 1 kill within. It is not looking good, in case you hadn't already noticed. And Mark, I think starting to see a little bit of frustration. I'm honestly surprised we haven't seen a second pause, because these rounds have been so brutally sort of clean for the side of Na'Vi. And don't get me wrong, it seems like, especially Hero and Alexic, are just having a whale of a time, but expected this to be a slightly closer game, especially, obviously we're only at the very beginning of the season, but we're talking about teams and whether they can make it to champs will revolve around, okay, not even points, probably more likely that they'll have to actually finish first or second. And for Apex, making it to champs keeps them in the league. Otherwise, even if they have to finish at minimum a top 8, otherwise they are, well, instantly relegated. So this is not a good sign. 7-2 up. Sure, it's not their map choice, but it's more the manner that they've been losing these rounds than the actual result.
Angel's been practicing the shock darts. Almost took himself down with that one.
It's got to give him a chance.
A little early on that, but Penny still gets tagged up. Space taken by Apex. They're on site. It's only Angel to deny. He's up top. Doesn't want to push through that smoke without his teammates being by his side. Now a couple starting to rotate in. Alexic, the 4th man on the site, but the first to find a pick.
He still has an outlaw.
With the Vova down. And again, it's the right round forward, that reinvestment after losing 2 rifles. They pick up the outlaw. They know light shields if Apex invest, and they're going to invest with a scoreline that's in play. Bladestorm takes down Batu. Who's covering it? Who's looking? Nobody. It's a sea of isolated islands, but they're all showing up right when they need to. Pressure on though. Defuse could be underway. Jump up from Petty is caught, and now it's Ollie Zera. He has to run. He has to flee with the wall, blocking him off. There's nothing he can do. The round won by NAVI. There was a moment where it looked like Apex had a chance. 3 quick kills, but NAVI still come out on top.
Yeah, definitely the closest of the lot, but when Hero's still alive, I think you don't have to worry too much. 14-2. The guy has come back into VCT EMEA Stage 2.
No need for that. No need for that whatsoever.
Hey,
that's cruel.
Almost.
That's like, just cruel.
You know. I don't know. I think that was an average Jonas life.
Someone was giggling requesting that replay. Yeah, and then put the 3rd person in. Slow-mo, maybe? No, leave the slow-mo this
I like
time.
how you said that's the closest round for Apex, and the replay is Angel messing up a shock dart. Oh, dear. Well, 10 seconds in, and 2 players already dead. It is not looking like a change to the tide. It's looking like Apex are getting swept. Alexic. Well, his dash is going to disappear. I wouldn't be surprised if he tries to stick around, but plays a little bit safe, still has Rooksik to support. The other players are all sort of fighting in mid, and Penny trying to pressure. He's done well. He's going to take a little bit of extra damage, but they have managed to find a couple of picks. Hero already in position, though, and the team is looking to join him.
A shame that AWP is so far back. For Penny to recover that would give them a real opportunity here with these long-range angles on the retake, and players already filling in that space.
Player standing.
Well, he won't pick up anything but a shot to the head. Hero with a double. He has been on fire so far. Alexic has been reliable. And on the other side, there's not much to report. Apex are looking like they're falling flat in most of these fights.
I like how there was the talk at the beginning of like, yeah, Xiao, he can just play anything. Well, at the moment, he's playing sub. Like, he doesn't need to do anything. He's just chilling. 2 and 5.
Hey, he put that wall down.
That was a good wall. It was a good wall. And he diffused behind the wall.
He did.
He diffused behind the wall,
MVP.
you know? Apex had the lowest Icebox post-plant win rate. Don't think it's improving. 9-2.
Get out of my way.
The 2 was the first 2.
On the upside, at least they can argue sample size because it's not like they've planted most of the time. So,
great.
The stat might be bad, but hey, there haven't been many post plants.
You really are bringing a lot of silver linings today.
I am. Listen, I'm working on my positivity here.
Okay.
As I imagine Apex are.
Yeah, one of us has to. Well, Bladestorm out. Rifles across the board.
Nice.
A nice opening, but it's very quickly returned. Xiao has the res as well, so it's not even going to last very long. Rooksik has now fallen as well, so they will at least have stopped it becoming an advantage. I wonder, is he deciding who he's going to pick up? Rooksik does have the Viper's Pit, and now with the smoke, yeah, it does make more sense. A little bit more spammable, though. By the way, the plant still hasn't come in, so it's actually not too problematic, especially with Hero on the scene, but he has been put down finally. I think this is his 3rd death.
They're just trying to save those post-plant stats. I respect it. 30 seconds, though. Oh, the Hunter's Fury put through. It's way too late. Those players have moved. Avova gets
Spikes
caught
on the
off.
ground.
Spikes down. 20 seconds now on the clock, and they have to cross over the gap. They won't even get close. The firing squad waiting and put to bed early, 10-2. The game's barely started, but it's looking like it might be over.
Yeah, this is definitely becoming a fairly bleak-looking scenario, but maybe you believe in miracles. We'll be back after the break.
Welcome back, folks. 10 rounds in a row for NAVI. At 2-1, they were in a 3v5, and I think that's about as threatened as they've looked throughout this series. For Apex, it's not even just about the map, Tom. There's been so many fights where it feels like they have the upper hand, they have the jump, the player's not looking, their crosshair is, well, maybe not on the head, I suppose that's the problem, but NAVI are always given that opportunity to fight back in those battles, and they win every single time from what we've seen in those last 10.
Yeah, it's been a bit whiffy, I'll be honest. There's been a few moments, especially from Olizera, but I'm willing to give him the benefit of the doubt. It's your first map in VCT EMEA. Even other players of the team have shifted around, so I'm sure that it's definitely a high-pressure scenario, but there's not really been anyone that I'm going, oh, they're having a great game. Like, it's just been rough. Hero has been far and above the best player in the server. He has died 3 times with 17 kills to his name. So yeah, I do think they're going to struggle at just stopping him from dealing those death blows, and the Turkish duo now sit at the top with Ruxic catching up after the early start from Alexic. But that's about all the story we've got, because even like I think the bit that was most worrying for me is when 2 players push a smoke and there's another player on top of the tube in mid and Hero kills all 3 of them. That was sort of the moment where I go, okay, that shouldn't be happening. Like you've even set up a scenario where that shouldn't be possible. He gets 2, it's more forgiving, but I think the 3rd is ridiculous. We'll have to see. Obviously, we can put it down to first map jitters. We can put it down to maybe this just not the map for them. And hey, you know, at least going in with pistols, they got a higher pistol win rate.
Could double the round wins.
There you go, 52.8.
I think if we pulled up the rifle win rate for this map, it would be
0.
a 0 versus 100. So not the best for what comes after these next 2, but hey, some promise here. And I think it's important for them to have that little bit of a flair. So far, they felt individually outmatched in so many of these battles. This isn't somewhere I come in and say, wow, Navi, the calls have been great. Like that 4-man stack up on A that Apex ran into, that was around 1 off of the cerebral element. But then we move past that, and almost every other round was individuals outmatching what was on the other side.
There was a round where 2 players pushed A, took the whole map control. It got to a point where Navi started disrespecting them, and they are a team that the second that happens, the game just feels like it's over until you shut them down. Already, a lot of early sort of posturing from Navi, like playing some of those fights in middle, even sending their jet solo again. It does feel like at times that Alexic is being used as a sentinel, as the rest of the team currently build into an A site, which is very open. Only 1 man there, and that will be Avova. And it does seem like they're starting to make that realization. The rotation coming through, but that's where they could go walking into Alexic.
Well, they've at least got the site control here for Navi planned in. They've left it quite late, but time not going to be a problem. Apex gearing up for a full retake. All 5 players ready and waiting at the gates in just a moment. Some damage dealt already with Olizera on half. Still not that one shot to the Sheriffs, which is important, with a few of them brought through for NAVI. They've already gotten up to the wall. Alexic finds one from further away. Time is ticking. They need to get in there, and it's a flurry of frags for NAVI until Malsey and Penny can step up to the plate. Hero, 10 HP, most hope, sits with Angel, and they know where he is, but Hero, 13 health, miles away, and it's the Sheriff that puts a nail in Apex's coffin, 11-2. They needed that pistol.
Can't believe you said it, I'll be honest. It mostly sits with Angel when Hero's alive. He could have had 1 HP, and there could be a Molotov flying towards his head, he'd still get 2.
19-3 right now. Like, this is outrageous performance.
Yeah, it has been very, very comfortable, to say the least.
Keep it cool.
You add up the bottom 4 players of Apex, and they're 1 ahead of Hero. And that in round 2 or 3 might be all right, but in round 14, not so much. We're already seeing that Outlaw back into play again, and Penny pushing with no real support. They haven't fully invested into this round, so they're still going to try and play the buy round at least, but it does mean that this buy kind of stinks. And while for NAVI, they're not even going for the normal, like, oh, let's save a weapon or 2, and then if we lose a gun, we can buy back. There's no point. They're just going to try and win out these rounds, get this one over and done with a move to Sunset, where we'll have to hope there's a little bit more. Nice shot, at least, from Batu. Even for Apex at this stage, maybe just getting a couple of rounds to get the confidence going might be better than just being blasted as they have.
Well, they're going to have to hope for that. Not in this one, though, unless Batu keeps going like that. Nice little double from him, but they've still got a lot of powerful weapons to face off against, and it's not a battle that they're favored in. 12-2. 10 rounds in a row needed for Apex. Now, listen, I've seen it before in the previous half.
Yeah, here.
But
12 rounds in a row.
It's now 12 in a row, exactly.
Exactly. 10's not even that much.
10, that's a portion of what their opponents just found. You could say it's anyone's game.
No, I don't think you can.
I'm not sure why you would, but you could. You have free will.
Could say that sentence.
You have free will. Those
you
words
would be wrong.
Could be said.
Yeah, you can. You could say whatever you want.
Really?
Yeah.
All right.
Maybe you shouldn't, but you could.
Oh, my bad.
Well, 12-2. Alexic only has a Sheriff in this round. That's a positive. That's something. NAVI are actually playing it relatively safe with their economy and not throwing everything into this round. Or they just think they can win the round anyway. One of the two. Probably the second.
Might be the latter, yeah. Yeah. The way things have gone, I think you might be spot on. Apex, a team that have experienced nothing but losses. I think it's 7 losses in a row when it comes to VCT, EMEA. 10 overall for NAVI. I mean, they're not the best of spots, but 4 out of 10 wins. They've tasted victory. Apex still hungry for that. And the drone, it is going to spot one waiting outside. It's the Killjoy, though. This could very well be the lurk.
That's a little bit unlucky because they are posturing to eventually go towards this A site. But spotting Killjoy almost tells you the opposite. There's likely that this will be a lurk. They haven't budged, though. Keeping 3 players on this side of the map, NAVI is ultimately going to be walking into the heavier stacked and where the weaponry should favor Apex at least versus this man here. That's why he's going to take contact, look for that initial fight, already spots a couple. The time too low for NAVI to make any other decision. They will have to keep going this way.
Chips in the night and mid, it all comes down to that. And they're going to lose Ruxic. Now this battle much more uphill with 12 seconds on the clock. These kills need to come in quickly, and it's all Apex. 8 seconds on the clock, and the Sheriff is the last man standing. An in-zone flawless for Apex, but it's only a 3rd round.
It's the beginning.
All right, calm down.
This is their moment. The time to turn the tide.
You sound like
Apex.
Taco on Nuke.
Did you win?
No, of course not.
You never know. If they do now turn around, I'm just going to clip that bit on its own, none of the rest.
Yeah, perfect.
Just hope that no one on Apex is watching the VOD. But hey, energy's still high. Olizera get himself an extra couple of kills. There is still a purchase. Xiao now going to be onto an SMG, which might be fine. He's been in the backpack for a lot of this game, but Gonna be looking at Hero. Alexic and Ruxic, they have been the three to really dominate the fight so far. Angel's been doing all right as well, to be fair. 10 and 6. See, he can go positive.
And those shock darts have been something else, huh? That one right there, though, it does actually land. It deals a bit of damage.
Oh.
Penny still lurking around, finds one. Alexic down, jump up on the box, punished as well.
Okay.
Penny, he's here, defending the site. Not quite alone, but you'd think it looking at the kill feed as he picks up another. It's the ace on the cards.
Oh.
The ammo runs dry. A 4th round for Apex, nonetheless. A great performance from Penny, and now they're starting to heat up on that side of the stage.
Oh, it would have been an EMEA debut ace. That would have been lovely. Now makes himself positive at least. And you know what? 12-4 up. Game's starting to get a little bit tight. Happy needs a word. He spotted them things he didn't like, Mitch, in those 2 rounds that they lost. And, we're going to tap into that now. He's just told them to stop losing and get back to...
Stop dying to Penny.
Yeah, don't see where Penny is, go the other way.
Smart man.
I don't mind this from Navi, honestly. Like, you're playing obviously quite cocky because of the score. And maybe just spotting a few things like, okay, let's just close this one out nice and fast. Let's get this done as quickly as possible and move on to Sunset. Not allow them to build up that additional confidence, because I do feel like that's the thing. You've got a couple of new players in the mix, whether they be experienced or not, and it takes you a little bit of time to get acclimatized to that stage once again. But once you start rolling, even if they end up closing this out like 13-8, those extra few rounds could be enough that they go into their own map choice feeling a lot more confident.
That's it. You don't want the momentum to build up on that side. This is a map where Navi could leave, having their opponents feel like they were walked all over. And if it becomes a closer game, like you said, a 12-8, then Apex can sit there and think, okay, we started slow. We gave them 10 rounds in a row, but we almost had it. If we won a couple of those, it was our game, or at least a much closer one. That could bounce them back into the series, especially with their map pick up next. We come into this round, and it will be a low buy across the board. It will be Penny, same as Alexic. He's gone for that Outlaw. And Angel will already be dropped early on. That Cloudburst fading, but the shots don't land. Bladestorm online. Alexic invested immediately. They can afford rifles in the next. No need to save it, and it might give them a chance in this round.
Still feels fairly unlikely, but he's had some pretty explosive rounds so far. Looking like after being spotted on this side of the map, they actually used the res. Okay.
That's a lot more commitment. I mean, I already look at the Bladestorm. It's like, okay, maybe you won't have much use in the next, so put it in the res, though? That seems like a bit of a head-scratcher. Navi clearly feeling confident.
Yeah, yeah, the round where most of them don't even have shields. Alexic, he wants this, he wants the fight. Well, those initial knives have not connected. He's only got 2 left. And now going to start selling the ruse of this A site, hoping that it will get them space. But thus far, it's obviously been very early in the defensive side, but we haven't seen massive rotations. That's a nice shot onto Batu, though. Now this ruse gets a little bit more interesting as he's going to look to face off against Olizero. On the other side of the map, though, Avova has already spotted the real deal. Even still, though, Alexic's still going! This man is as good as promised, but the spike has been lost on the other side anyway. He's got it and killed 3 on A, and they're still going to lose the round. There's just not enough time. They need to wipe them out in a second. Oh, he took a I can't believe it! It's a base they've gone through to close out the map! What have I just seen?